There you see now how all your so-called power counts for absolutely nothing. How your entire empire of destruction comes crashing down, all because of one little cherry. One little. What a lovely ballet ensues, so full of form and colour.
Hi, it's Mo. Welcome back to my book sale series. This is a series that I'm doing this year where I'm taking you along to all the book sales that I go to. I generally go to book sales like once a month. I usually skip January and February, but you can go back and see the first episode of this series, which took place in January, where I did end up going to a book sale. I'm not necessarily talking about all the books that I'm getting at these book sales. I'm definitely not doing a full-on book haul. We are going to do a little bit of a book haul this time, but it's not going to be like book sales for the sake of book hauls. I don't like book hauls. I don't watch book hauls. I don't necessarily agree with book hauls, but I do haul a lot of books, and one of the things that I want to get across with this series is that if you like to collect books like I do, if you like to rescue books, if you like to get new books or exciting books or books that have been on your want to read list, you can do that in an inexpensive way while you're supporting your local library or women's group or school or etc. etc. This episode is a little different because in February there was no book sale that I wanted to go to or that I was able to go to, and I thought, well, I might as well show going to some of my favorite book stores instead of book sales. Specifically, one of my all-time favorites, the Book Garden, which is in New Egypt, New Jersey. So I do take you along there. I've taken you before. I have other footage in other vlogs, and I think I've done one whole like mini vlog of going to the Book Garden. The Book Garden is definitely one of my favorite bookstores of all time. It's my perfect labyrinthine bookstore. It has newer books, it has a lot of mass market paperbacks, it has a lot of hardcover, and I always find something that I want to get. I do fear that it won't be around much longer, which is another reason why I want to patron it as much as possible this year. And then in the very beginning of March, there was a book sale in the town of Chatham, which is in New Jersey. It's about an hour away from where I live. And it was a library that we visited not too long ago on a separate trip. We didn't actually go in the library on that trip, but we went to a toy store and a toy show in the area and saw the library, and it looked really cool. So when I saw they were having a book sale there, I was like, ooh, let's go to the Chatham Library book sale. This book sale was really good. It did have a lot of books. Now it's the end of March and I've kind of mixed up everything that I did. Like, I definitely got books at the book sale. I definitely got books at the bookstore, but I don't remember which is which. There's a couple of highlights that I want to point out and some mistakes that I made that I want to point out. So we will go through some books quickly that I got in the last 2 months. At my local used bookstore, I got Wizard of the Crow by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. He is a Kenyan author, and he's super famous, well-known in Kenya. He originally started writing in English, and then he wrote in Kikuyu language, and then he translated his own work back into English. So this book was originally written in Kikuyu or Gikuyu and translated by the author. This is one that ever since I found out about this author, I've been wanting to read, so I was super happy to get it, and I got this one for $1 at my local used bookstore. Also at that same bookstore, the Book Co-op in Asbury Park, I found Pew. This is by Catherine Lacey, and it is a novel where a person turns up sleeping on a pew in a church, and the town has to help this person, but this person has no gender, they have no color, they have no identity at all. So it's about the townspeople and what they end up thinking about this kind of amorphous person. Mostly from the book sale in Chatham, I got a bunch of books that I always keep my eye out for. So I got Mary Robert Reinhardt, The Swimming Pool. I love Mary Robert Reinhardt. This is a great old copy, pretty beat up as you can tell. But then conversely to that, I got an absolutely almost brand new Europa Press book. This is The Man in the Wooden Hat by Jane Gardam. I pick up all Europa Press books now because I've read a couple and I really, really enjoy them, and they're a great print. They always have something interesting. Along those same lines, I pick up NYRB edition books whenever I see them. I've been wanting to pick up Stoner for a long time. I actually have a special edition of this one that I haven't read yet, but it's a hardcover and it's kind of hard to read. So I was super excited that they had a bunch of library cast-offs of Stoner there. They had like 4 copies of it, so I was able to pick one up, which will be much easier to read, and it's the beautiful NYRB. I'll have to take this sticker off so you can see the nice NYRB logo. As far as books that I've been wanting to read for a really long time, I was super happy to find Mrs. Caliban by Rachel Ingalls. This is one of the first books that I heard about on BookTube since joining BookTube, and I wanted to get to it. I didn't realize it was this extremely short. I knew it was short, but so I was super happy to find a copy of that. So if you're looking for a book, if you've been waiting for a book, if you wanted to pick up a book, could you go to Barnes & Noble and order it? Sure. Could you go to your local indie bookstore and order it? Probably yes. But if you just wait and you seize the opportunity, you will find it. And being a mood reader, even if I get this book, even if I order this book, I might not read it right away. So for me, waiting 4 years in this case to find a book is not actually waiting that long. Another Europa Press book that I got was Older Brother by Mahir Guven. I don't know what these books are about. I just picked them up because they looked interesting and they are from Europa Press. This was translated from the French by Tina Cover. Another book that I've been waiting for a long time is Benjamin Labatut, When We Cease to Understand the World. This was, I believe, in the this was shortlisted in the 2021 International Booker Prize, so I've been looking for it since then, and I was able to find this absolutely pristine copy, so I'm excited to get to this one. And another book that I have seen around that I thought would be interesting is The Borrowed by Chan Ho Kee. This is another library cast-off copy, so you can get books in all different conditions, right? You could get books that, have that plasticky cover on them, that have stickers. You can get books that maybe are a much older edition, but you can also get fairly new, absolutely pristine books. A very new 2024 release is The Most by Jessica Anthony. I was interested in this one as well. Again, I didn't realize it was quite so short. I'm excited to get to this one soon, but this could have never been read. I think all the books that I got at the library sale turned out to be just over $1, like $1.25 when you work it all out together, when you take them in a whole. I think soft covers were $1, mass market paperbacks were 50 cents, and hardcovers were $2. So you can definitely find brand new books in the best condition at book sales like this. Another thing that I wanted to talk about that you can get at library book sales, and this might be controversial, is you can often get proofs. So I have recently picked up these 3 very new proofs. This came out on February 11th, 2025, so I probably got it like 2 weeks after it actually came out. It is Beartooth by Callan Wink. This is a Native American thriller, I think. I don't know for sure. I think it's going to be similar to Winter Counts, which I read last year. So there is some controversy over whether book sales should be selling proofs, because you're not technically allowed to sell proofs. So if you see a proof in a bookstore, you shouldn't buy it necessarily because they're not technically supposed to be selling them. But for something like a library book sale, I think it's worth it to buy the proofs because you are donating to a cause. You are exchanging money for books to promote the library, to help the library, to give money to the library. So I'm super excited about this one. Not a super new release, but one that I've been wanting to read is Happiness Falls. This came out in 2023, and this is a proof. Again, it has a couple of cracks in the spine, but a great condition book. Obviously, it's a proof, so you might not want to display it, but it's not that beat up. It hasn't been read that many times. good condition. Color television came out last year in 2024, and this one I think is up for several awards as well. I just saw Brian from Bookish recommend this one, so I'm very excited to get to this one. And this is one of those proofs that you can barely tell that it's a proof because it looks very much like the finished copy. Now to talk about some mistakes. So something that does happen to me at book sales is that I get a little overzealous and I get really excited and I see books that maybe I've never heard of, or maybe I don't know anything about, or maybe I don't know if I actually already have. I don't go to book sales with any kind of list. I just go with what's in my brain. Usually that keeps me from getting more things, but occasionally it backfires. So at the Chatham book sale, it did backfire and I did get a copy of Paradise by Toni Morrison. I already have a hardcover copy of Paradise by Toni Morrison. I knew I needed a couple of Toni Morrison books to complete her canon, to complete my collection of her work, but I couldn't remember if one of them was Paradise or not. Unfortunately, the book that I need, at least the next one in her publication order, is Tar Baby. So I came home, realized that I already have a copy of Paradise, and I spent, my $2 unwisely on this book. I know that I will put this on a free library, or I will give it to someone and they will enjoy it. So $2 is not like the worst price to pay to give a book away to someone else who might like it. And then another mistake that I made at the Chatham book sale is I did pick up The Friend by Sigrid Nunez. I read another book by Sigrid Nunez, which I really, really enjoyed. And I've been avoiding The Friend ever since. I was avoiding The Friend because The Friend is about a dog, and I was like, I think something bad happens to the dog. And this whole time, years since I've read What Are You Going Through, which was the Sigrid Nunez that I read, I was like, well, I'm not going to pick up The Friend because something bad is going to happen to the dog. And then I saw this beautiful, pristine copy at the book sale for $1 or whatever it was, and I was like, let me just pick it up. I liked the other book that I read by her. Maybe something bad doesn't happen to the dog. I'll just pick it up. Now at this point, I should have stopped and I should have looked online and I should have checked if something happened to the dog before I purchased it, but I didn't do that. So when I got home, I checked, and yes, something bad happens to the dog. Sorry for spoilers, but it's not going to be a book that I'm going to be able to read. So I'm going to be putting this one in a little free library. So there definitely are pitfalls that could happen when you are at a book sale. There are definitely things that you have to look out for. I did come away from the Chatham book sale with over 40 books also, which is another pitfall that you could fall into. But as we've already discussed in other videos, this year I'm giving myself free rein to go to book sales, to take you along with me, to enjoy the process of book collecting, irregardless of how many books are on my TBR. And then, maybe next year we'll have to have a different project that we do, something that I've been thinking about for the last 3 months. Let me know if you go to library book sales. Let me know what organizations you have found have book sales that you like to participate in or to help or to donate to. Let me know if you've ever donated books to book sales. That would be really interesting. I've never actually done that, but it is something that I've thought about doing at the end of the year when I get rid of all the books that I've read in the previous year. So let me know those things in the comments below, and I will see you in this series the next time that we visit a book sale. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!